Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell from the title, today I'm talking about something a bit more serious. I think I'm quite liking talking about more serious topics. I feel like that's probably best for me. I look a hot mess right now, but listen, that's not what this video is about. So as I said, as you can tell from the title, we are talking about SA. I'm not sure if I know how to bleep, so I'm just going to use SA as the initials for it, because from the title you should know what SA is. So I'd say that everything that was going on Twitter, I feel like a lot of people have died down on talking about it, but I feel like the topic itself is very relevant. Maybe not so the people, because they are going to get what's coming to them, but ones that really are predators, they will get what's coming to them. But in terms of just SA in general, it has definitely started in school. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of the people that were doing certain stuff in school, they've grown up, they've aged, they're matured, they know what they did was wrong. But some other people, they've just gotten worse and worse, or carried on that behavior, and they've just done it in different ways. It might be more so emotional than actually physical. So also I'll be discussing about the whole older boy younger girl concept, because that definitely started in school as well. So I will speak about that first. So in terms of my experience in primary school, I remember in year 3 I used to have a crush on a boy that was in year 6. So everyone in primary school, well, not everyone, but a lot of people in primary school, like, you have crushes. Like, there was a boy that I used to have a crush on, and he had a crush on me. He was in my year. His mum used to like allow him to buy stuff for me. He went abroad and he like got like a basket made, a handmade basket. I think they wefted it. That way he got that made for me, and it had my name on it, and on the back it said Bahamas. So that's where he got it from. Like, listen, his mom was like into it. Our parents would talk. So yeah, it was just like that. It was like a harmless crush. So yeah, in year 3 I liked a boy that was in year 6. But me, I've always been smart for my age. I knew that nothing was gonna happen. Like, you know, it's just a little crush. But there was another boy in year 6 that liked me, but I did not like him. He kept trying it. He would even tell my little sister that, oh, tell your sister that I like her, blah blah. And like, this guy was 3 years older. Now bear in mind, like, year 6 you're what, 10, 11, and year 3 you're 7, 8, I believe. Oh, listen, I should know these ages, but it is what it is. I think about 7, 8. So we're underage, both underage. Of course, nothing like that was gonna happen, but you know what I mean, like, to be dating and stuff like that, it's like, no, nobody does that at that age. Well, the generations now, who knows? But yeah, so that was primary school. And I know in primary school a lot of people used to play kiss chase and stuff like that, where they'll try and kiss the girls. And see, that's where it all stems from. A lot of it stems from childhood. Now, jumping into secondary school, that is when things got very heavy, because obviously people are going through puberty, hormones are all over the place, you're starting to understand sexuality more, and you're starting to be more attracted to people. That's when you really get into relationships. And you might be most people in secondary school wouldn't take their relationships seriously, but a few people have been taking those seriously, and even from secondary up until now they're still together or they're married. So for most people it's not serious, but for a handful of them it does end up being something serious. So secondary school, my time, oh my gosh, I sound so old saying that, but my time in secondary school, there was a thing that we used to call, like I said, I don't know if I'll be able to beep it, so I'm just going to mouth it. So that's what we used to call it. And it was just that the girls might be walking by, and then the boys will start touching them, or they'll be trying to dagger them, and that was basically what was happening to majority of the girls in the year. It could be if the corridor was like tight, or like there was a load of people in the corridor. Like basically there was just every opportunity, like even on buses with like a whole bunch of people on the buses, the boys would still be doing that. So I was one of the people that got it the worst, and it was happening like all the time. Now at that time, like, you knew it was bad, but it became such a norm to everyone that it was kind of like nobody like told teachers or anything. I don't think it was done in front of teachers, of course it couldn't have been, but as far as I remember, nobody that I knew had like complained about it or like gone to a teacher about it or anything. I could be wrong, but from what I remember, I don't think so. Because it was happening to like most of the girls, it became like a norm, which is so bad because it's basically assault. That was assault, and it was seen as normal back then because it was happening to everyone, and a lot of people at that time didn't speak up about assault and about abuse in general. It wasn't spoken about, it wasn't something that was like a main topic, so it was just like that. And a lot of the girls were talking to like older boys, like much older boys. Like I remember when I was 12, a boy had approached me, well, he got his friend to approach me. They'd asked me how I was, I said I'm 12, and the boy was 15 and he still wanted my contact number. Bearing in mind, he was 1 year away from being legal and he was still trying him. Even the other day, I was on my Facebook Messenger, just checking my messages, and I thought, you know what, let me just look through all my messages, because obviously it's been years, I haven't looked at them in time. So I thought, okay, let me just look at my messages. So I'm there scrolling all the way to the bottom and I'm reading some messages and I'm like, wow, I don't even remember talking to half of these people. A lot of them, their accounts are deactivated, so I don't even know who the people are. But there was a lot of guys, especially much older guys, that were trying it with me, even after I told them my age. I think there was one I saw, he was in his 20s and I was still a teenager. I don't even think I turned 16 yet. So I was still in school, and this guy didn't even care. Like he was still talking to me. He was like, he realized that I wasn't interested, and he was like, oh well, when you're interested, just message me back, da, da, da. And in my head I'm like, wow. And bearing in mind, when I was younger, I always look older for my age, but I never lied about my age. I would be honest about it, and guys, they actually would not care. Like, they would still try it. Even when I was 13, there was an 18-year-old guy trying to talk to me and actually genuinely wanting to be with me, trying to wait until I was 16. Like, listen, it's mad. Back then, like, you wouldn't think about them sort of things, but now I'm just like, wow, like, guys are really trying it. Like, even when I was 10, listen, 10 years old, and this Asian guy was like 18, and he was fully trying to talk to me, trying to get me to meet up with him. If I wasn't such a smart child, that could have been me trafficked, that could have been me killed, that could have been me, like, it's absolutely crazy. And that's how a lot of children unfortunately get themselves in these situations, because they're not that they're not smart, but they just haven't been exposed to that. And I know that children shouldn't be exposed to these kind of things, but the way things are going on now, we need to be telling our children, our cousins, our brothers and sisters about all of these things from early. We may think that they're too young to be exposed to it, but from time an 18-year-old is trying to talk to me at 10 years old, we need to be letting these children know from a younger age. I know they said in primary school, so they want to start talking about sex education and stuff like that, and people were having issues with that. But honestly, the way so many children are going missing now and they're being trafficked and all sorts of things, I feel like they really genuinely need that knowledge. They don't need to know about sex per se, but they need to have some knowledge about grooming, about predators, about pedophiles, about things like that. They really need that information, because a lot of young people do not know about this stuff. And if I wasn't just naturally like smart, not smart, I don't want to say anyone's dumb, but just because I wasn't, like, I was just naturally very like knowledgeable and intelligent, so I knew, like, I was very aware of like strangers. I guess because my mum used to wrap us in cotton wool, so I was just always aware like there were certain things that I didn't have no business doing, or people that I didn't have no business talking to. So yeah, it was pretty much like that. But going back to secondary school, it was seen as norm. And yeah, I'm going to say about one experience I had where it was literally the worst, and I actually spoke out and then it just backfired. basically. So yeah, so this experience happened in year 11, I believe. Yeah, it was year 11. So me and my best friend at the time, we used to go everywhere together, do everything together. Like I'd stayed at her house for like 2 weeks, and I think it was after school one day, and we were going home, but honestly I can't remember fully. Like I've literally like this, my memory is terrible, like there's so many stuff I don't remember anymore. But yeah, we were gonna go home, and there's like anyone who went to the same secondary school as me, you know, there's like that alleyway part that was near Favourites, where you could walk through there. So I think there was a load of the boys that used to do the whole thing, and I don't know how, but they just ended up following us. Like they just used to pester us all the time after school. So there was just one time that we were going, I think it was just us two. What I can remember, I'm sure it was just us two. So the boys, they started touching us, they were doing stuff they usually do, but this was like worse than before. Like they just kept coming for me especially, and there was like 5 or 6 of them, so you can just imagine, like it was a lot. So they were like following us, they kept trying to touch us, and then we'd be running. And bearing in mind, when I'm nervous or basically any type of like sad or like scared emotion I'm feeling, sometimes I laugh. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm enjoying anything or that I think it's funny. Like people that laugh in bad situations don't know exactly what I'm talking about. So sometimes the boys would do this stuff and I'd laugh, and a lot of the girls would laugh, and they just presume that, oh, that they probably liked it or whatever. But that's just what some people do. Like I know like some people, when they're angry or when they get into fights, they cry, and it's not because they're upset, it's just because that they're angry about the situation. So it was kind of like that. So yeah, they just kept doing what they were doing, and we started running away, and my friend had jumped over a gate. But me, listen, the one time I jumped over a gate in Edmonton, you know, Edmonton Green, they have those gates. So I went to go over the gate because all my friends are jumping over the gates. So I was like, okay, like obviously I have to follow you guys because I think we were trying to get to the other side, because you know they have the gate, they have the bus stop there, they have a gate, and then you go to the other side to get to the other side where the buses are. So yeah, they went over the gate. So me and my stupid self went to go over the gate, and I literally buckled and I scraped my knee. Like it was literally bleeding and it was really bad. So after that, I can't climb on gates. Like I'm literally terrified. So she went over the gates and I didn't even try. Like I was like, no, I can't. And I had a skirt as well, and I think I was wearing tights, or I was wearing the knee-high socks that we wear. So I was like, no, I can't. She's like, Charlize, come. And I was like, no, I can't. So she's on the other side, and all the boys catch up with us, and they just start going for it at me. Like they're touching me, they're trying to dang me, like just everything. And it was so bad that I fell over, and at that point I was literally terrified because I thought they were gonna jump on top of me. And that's when I was literally like, okay, like this is really bad. Like I was terrified. It may not have shown on my face or whatever, but I literally covered my face because I was literally scared. And obviously they just thought it was funny, but none of them tried to attack me. I think one of them helped me up, I can't remember. But after that, yeah, it was pretty much done. So my friend came back over the gate, and then we were all walking off, and the boys were behind us, and then one of them went to go slap my bum. So I turned around and I slapped him across the face. Like it was a hard slap, and obviously because he didn't have hair as well, it just connected even worse, because it was like, I think like near his head, so it was like his face and his head, if that makes sense. So yeah, after that went home, and usually when I get home I just go upstairs and I get changed, and then I'll come back down or whatever. But I stayed upstairs and I literally like went into bed and cried because it was that bad. Like I cried. So obviously because that's not like me, like to stay upstairs, I always go downstairs. Like I think my mum had asked me like, oh, are you not gonna come down, or you don't want to talk to us, or something like that. Just basically like being in her like mood, just like, oh, why is she not coming down, like thinking that I didn't want to talk to them or anything. So like I was literally still crying, so I just wrote down basically what happened. So I said that I was assaulted, but back then I didn't know that assault meant rape. So I don't know. I don't know if that still classes as assault. Honestly, I need to educate myself more on the different terms, because I know there's so many different terms, but I think that is a form of assault. So yes, I wrote down what happened, and then I went downstairs, gave it to my mum, and just quickly like went straight back upstairs. So obviously my sisters were down there as well, so they'd read what I wrote. I think my mum had shown them or something. So my mum called me downstairs, and they were literally like just all like looking in shock. So they asked me if I'd been, and I said no, and I just explained like what they'd done. So she was like, give me their numbers right now. And at first I was scared, because I was like, oh my gosh, like now that I've told her, this is gonna become like something serious, and now people at school are gonna hear about it and whatever. So yeah, I gave her one of the boys' numbers. I think it was like the main one. So I gave it to her, and when she called the number, he was like, oh, this is so and so's dad. But it wasn't his dad, it was him. It was as if he knew that he was about to be in trouble. So my mum was talking to him, because obviously she thought that was the boy's dad, but it wasn't. So I can't remember exactly what she was saying, but she was literally fuming. Like she was telling him off, like so angry. And after that she's like, oh, so and so wants to talk to you. And when she got on the phone, like I started smiling, because obviously like I told you, when I feel certain emotions, like I start to smile. So he was there on the phone, he was like, oh, why are you saying that we did this, we didn't do nothing, basically just like denying the whole thing. And I'm like, in my head I'm thinking like, are you stupid? Like you clearly knew what you did, you clearly knew that I'm not lying, so you can deny it all you want, but we all know what happened. So I told my mum that my best friend was there, because my mum and her mum were like very close. So she knew about our friendship, like she'd be at my house all the time and I'd be at her house and stuff like that. So I told my mum that she was there, so she called her, and basically she was asking her about what happened, and my best friend basically like denied everything. So my mum told me that she denied it, and I was like, why is she denying everything? Because she was there. So afterwards I spoke to her, and she was like, oh, she thought I didn't want me to tell my mum anything, and that she thought that I didn't want my mum to know. If I didn't want my mum to know, I wouldn't have told her. It was only me and you that was there. So unless one of the boys had gone to my mum and said that, oh, so and so happened, obviously I told her. How else would my mum have known? So then she basically denied it. Now I can understand that she probably didn't want anyone to know that she'd snitched on them or whatever, or that she was trying to save face. But it's like, I'm meant to be your best friend, like you should have stuck up for me. But it is what it is anyways, that was ages ago. So yeah, after that happened, went to school, and of course it was just hell. Like people knew about it. Obviously the boys weren't talking to me, like they were all pissed off. And after that they started calling me OG Nikki, and I'm like, are you like actually stupid? Like, are you sick in your head? Like, don't ever in your life. First of all, we all know what OG Nikki did. I for one did not do that. Second of all, I haven't touched any of you with a barge pole. You haven't even had these lips. You haven't had nothing. I haven't kissed you. I haven't done nothing with any of you. So don't even try and put that on my name. And at the time, I was dating someone as well. So it's like he had to hear all of this rubbish. And he'd asked me what happened and whatever, and like I told him. So it was like, when my boyfriend is there, because nobody knew that we were dating, like not really. So it's like when he's there with the guys, it's like, oh, they're there saying all this stuff, and now he has to hear this about his girlfriend. But he was amazing. He stuck by me, obviously, and we still stayed together. So yeah, but after that it was just like, I didn't speak to any of them up until we left. And there's no bad blood, honestly. I don't have a grudge against any of them. I follow some of them on Instagram, so it's not an issue to me. clearly, I don't know if they've changed. I'm sure they have, and if they have, then I'm glad that they have, because obviously I know we were teenagers, we were all young. That's not an excuse, because they knew exactly what they were doing. But at the end of the day, we were all naive. All the girls were allowing it. Nobody was saying anything. So of course they're going to keep doing what people are allowing them to do. Now, as I said, it's not an excuse, but I hope now that they're old enough now and they realise that what they did was disgusting. And all the other boys, not just that group, because there were other boys doing it as well. So I hope you all realise that what you were doing was disgusting. And the girls, we should have said something, but obviously it was happening to a majority of us, so it was kind of like a norm to everyone. So, but yeah, that was basically my experience with it. So for the most part, apart from that situation, I've just had like older guys trying to talk to me even when they knew my age. But I wasn't really someone that would go for older guys. The oldest person I've been with is my husband, 3 years. Like, I've spoken to a guy that was like 20, 26, 27 when I was like 20, but that didn't go anywhere. That's the guy that was in the story that I told, where he locked me in the house, where I thought he locked me in the house. But aside from that, no, it's always been like my age or a year older. But yeah, that was basically it. And I hope that anyone who is going through or has been through assault or any sort of abuse, I just hope that you build up the confidence to be able to tell someone, even if it is anonymous, or if you've had the courage to speak up on Twitter when all of that was going on, then you are literally amazing. You're so brave. You're just absolutely incredible, because I know it must not have been easy. And I'm going to end this video here. So I hope you like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.